Hello friends, Mandar here. I'm back with another video. Today we'll talk about the importance of I-94, the dreaded I-94 which lot of people get into trouble. We'll also talk about some of the options H-1B people have if they get laid off and if they don't have pending I-485. There is a special video that I had made, but we'll reiterate some of the important points. I'll talk about some of the benefits of Canadian work permit because many people are calling me regarding Canadian option looking at the visa bulletin progression. There is a second H-1B lottery we'll talk about, and most importantly we'll predict October visa bulletin. I'll remind you what I said in my last couple of videos as there were few questions regarding that. Also watch out for my giveaway. You can comment, like and subscribe to get into the giveaway. So packed content, watch this video until the end and let's get started. If you are here for the first time, welcome. My name is Mandar and I make immigration and lifestyle related videos for US and Canada. I'm not an immigration lawyer, so anything that I say on this video or on my channel is for information purpose only. And for your specific immigration needs, before you take any action, you should hire a competent immigration lawyer. Now few people have asked me why don't I make lifestyle related videos. I have done a few in the past, but I'll start doing more and more in the upcoming future. I'm getting closer to an important milestone after which I'll start making lifestyle related videos and more broad topics. So continue to stay subscribed to my channel. If you haven't already subscribed, do hit that subscribe button because less than 25% of my viewers are my subscribers still. So that free click of a button would incredibly help me. Do check out the links in the description because those are affiliate links and you might find something interesting. And while you are down there, put a like to the video. Now before we get into the importance of I-94, I want to talk about a couple of topics. The first one is H-1B. Now recently there have been again a spike in the layoffs in the tech center, in the healthcare sector, in the technology, in the biotechnology space and so on. Now if you are on H-1B, you have some options that you can quickly avail. Now first of all, you have 60 days of grace period during which you can find a new employer to transfer your H-1B. Now the 60 days start on the last day of the payroll. You should count from that day onwards. Now between these 60 days, if you are able to get a new job, if you are able to get a job offer and if you are able to submit your transfer petition, just submit it and get us a receipt number, you should be fine. But if you don't find a job within 60 days, then you have to consider other options. I would say even after 30 days, you should start preparing a plan B. The plan B could be moving on to another visa. If you have an approved I-140, see if your spouse has an approved I-140, you can quickly go on H4 and get your EAD. If that's not an option, if you are on 485, pending 485, then there is absolutely no issue because you are in status as long as your I-485 is pending and you can use EAD to work forward. It's just that you will lose your H-1B. But if you don't have an H-1B sponsored spouse or a pending I-485, then you are in a little bit of a difficult situation because then you need to find that H-1B sponsor or you need to move to another visa category or leave the country. Now another visa category could be student visa or even visitor visa or B1, B2 visa specifically. Now the reason I say B1, B2 visa is because that is a visitor category. It doesn't allow you to work, but it still allows you to apply for the job, stay in the country and give your interviews. But if before you start your job, you will have to get back on H-1B. Now if 60 days have passed since your job has expired, previous job has expired, then there is no H-1B, so you cannot apply for a transfer petition. It likely will get denied if you do that. So you might just want to apply for a fresh H-1B which will be probably cap exempt. And if you apply it in premium, you will get it within 2 to 3 weeks. So that is the option. I have made a specific video on this topic. There are 10 options what to do if you lose your job on H-1B. Do check out that video. That video has been doing quite well because there was a lot of interest in that video. So do check out that video. I'll leave the link or the banner over here. And that brings me to the sponsor of today's video. Have you ever done the Google search of your own name? Look what I have found when I did mine. Here's what comes up. While some of this information is relevant, the other makes me uncomfortable that my information is exposed for a sale like this. Data brokers sell your information to scammers, spammers, or anybody else who may want to target you.
Your full name, email address, home address, your relatives' names, health information, it's all out there. That's why I have been using Aura, sponsor of today's video. Aura shows me which data brokers are selling my information and automatically submits opt-out request for me. Cleaning up my information not only helps reduce the amount of spam I get, but it also protects me from hackers who could use this information to help them access my social media accounts, bank accounts, or other sensitive information. Aura does so much more to protect my information and my family's information from online threats I can't see. I get other features like antivirus, VPN, password management, parental controls, identity theft insurance, and more without having to download several different apps. It's really easy to set up, and best of all, I get everything for one affordable price. You may already have one or two of these tools, but not having Aura is like locking the front door but leaving your back door wide open. Aura is always on, doing the hard work of keeping me safe so I can focus on other tasks with peace of mind. I value my privacy and I value yours. You can go to my link which is on the screen and in the description and start your free 2 weeks trial. So protect your information, your family, and have a peace of mind. That's Aura.
Anyways, let's move on to our next topic, which is Canada options. Now lately I have been getting a lot of calls for EB1 category or EB1A or EB1C category, because the way dates are moving in EB2 and EB3, everybody is looking at EB1. But there is also one more category that people are interested in, which is Canada option. Can they go to Canada either through their existing job, take an intra-company transferee and go to Canada, or find a new job in Canada? Both options are available, and people who have received their open work permit through H1B program, through their Canada open work permit program, they are in a better situation to move to Canada and start their new job. Now, few things that I wanted to point out is there is a common question: is the work permit dependent on employer in Canada? Now, there are two types of work permit. One is open work permit and one is closed work permit. The one that Canadian government gave for H1B employees is open work permit. So essentially you can work for any employer. There are some details you need to remember about getting an LMIA based job for qualification for the PR application. But regardless, on open work permit is not tied to your employer, so you can work for any employer. It's like an EAD. But closed work permit is the one that is tied to your employer. Other benefits of Canadian work permit are they also give the work permit for entire family. So entire family gets the work permit. Unlike here in the US, where H4 visa doesn't allow to work unless you have I-140 approved. In Canada, dependents also get a work permit. And once you work in Canada for at least a year, you will get those 50 or 200 points, additional points for Canadian experience towards the CRS score for your permanent residency. So that's a great benefit. So Canada is definitely an option. I have lived in Canada and it's a beautiful country, very good to live. Do contact me if you are in one of these categories, H1B layoffs or Canada option and so on, or even EB1A or EB1C. I do a lot of calls to help people to give my perspective in their situation. Check out the links in the description how you can book 30 minutes with me on Calendly. There is a second H1B lottery because they were short of the applicants, or many applicants got denied because of the fraudulent applications and so on. So there is a second lottery that was just announced by USCIS. Many people will benefit from the second lottery. So if you haven't been picked in the first lottery, chances are you might get picked into the second lottery. So pay attention to that. Now moving on to the topic of today, which is importance of I-94. Now anybody who has been in the US or who has traveled to US knows what I-94 is. It's not the highway that we are talking about. It's the stamp or the paper clip that we used to have in the past stapled to our passports. Nowadays it's not stapled to our passport, it's online I-94. But regardless, I-94 is extremely important. I haven't been talking about it in my videos because that was not seen as much of an issue, but lately I have got some calls and some comments regarding I-94 and how people get into trouble not paying attention to their I-94 expiry date. So I wanted to talk a little bit about it. So for starters, what is I-94? Now I-94 is arrival departure record that is kept by CBP. CBP is Customs and Border Protection. So basically when you enter into the United States, there is a record that is made on an I-94 which gives you a specific date. It logs your date of entry, the port of entry, and it also gives you specific expiry date based on the visa classification that you are entering in. Now when you are going out, it also tracks that date. So there is a entry and exit. So if you go online, if you look up your I-94, you'll not only find your visa status, you'll also find the expiry date of your I-94. In addition, you'll also find the entry exit dates and the port of entries, the detailed history. Now I've been in this country for almost 24-25 years, and if I go to my I-94 status, I see all the entry exits dates with the port of entries specified there. It's a very important document. I used to be able to see my entry exit dates on the I-94 status. Now why is I-94 important? Now I-94 sets you apart from illegal immigration or illegal entry into the country. Obviously, if you enter legally through a port of entry with a valid visa, you get an I-94 which gives you particular details, and that is the proof that you entered the country legally. Anybody who enters illegally will not have that I-94. Second thing is, it specifies the expiry date. Basically, it specifies the date beyond which you should not stay in the United States and you have to depart. So that is very important. And then the third important thing is, it specifies the visa classification that you entered into the US with. And this allows the employers to verify your employment authorization in the United States. So basically, if your employer is to validate whether you are authorized to work, they will typically look at your I-94 status. Or even if you go to the DMV or any other place where they validate your immigration status, this is the quickest way to look up your immigration status. So that's why I-94 is quite important. And now, as I said, in the past, there used to be a paper that was stapled to your passport when you entered the United States. And then when you are ready to go out, at the check-in counter, they would just rip off your I-94 and your staple would still remain on your passport. I still remember on my old Indian passports, I had so many staples that were reminiscent of the I-94s that it had. But nowadays, they don't do that. It's all electronic. You can look it up online. There is no paper stapled. The only exception is if you travel by land to say Canada or Mexico, you might get a stapled I-94 again. So they are still behind in the times, but by land you might get stapled I-94, which is not a bad thing. Now you might say, why am I talking about it? It's because people sometimes lose track of their I-94 expiry date, especially when you are living in the country for a long time and you are going through a number of extensions of your visa. You need to pay attention to your I-94. Typically, when you get your extensions I-797 form that comes back has a new I-94 at the bottom. But sometimes that it does not. In that case, you have to go and revalidate to get a new I-94. And some people forget to do that. And if they do, that kind of puts them into a peculiar situation where they are living in the country without an I-94. Also, in other situations, when you are under extension, say your visa is under extension, you haven't received your extension, but your previous I-94 has expired. In that case, what do? You need to make sure that you always have a valid I-94 or I-94 expiry date. You need to do an automatic revalidation. You need to leave the country, come back with a valid stamp. That way you can extend your I-94 or work with a lawyer how you can get that resolved. Because if you don't, there are chances that might come back to haunt you in the future in the immigration. Now, how do you know that? Because many times I have seen when people come to me and say, okay, the primary applicant got their green card, but the derivative or their dependent did not, and they are still pending. And one of the reasons could be because there was unauthorized stay by that dependent. And it was by mistake, it was by negligence, pure negligence. Because at some point during their stay, they might have overstayed beyond their I-94 without getting a proper extension. And even if there were further approvals of their visa, there is still a gap that USCIS can see in your profile. And that's what happens to some people who do not get their green card approved along with the rest of the family members. As in some H4s getting denied for this reason as well. So pay close attention to your I-94. If you haven't looked at it, just quickly go online, put your passport details and so on, and you will find your I-94 status and your date. That is extremely important. And if it has passed for more than 6 months, you immediately need to hire a good lawyer to see what can be done about it. So that's all I wanted to say about I-94. If you have any questions, do reach out to me and I'll provide you my perspective. One more thing I wanted to remind is, in September visa bulletin, they had said that the EB3 will run out of visa numbers pretty soon in September. So at any given point of time, if your case is pending and even if your date is current, there might be a situation where you might not get your green card because they may have run out of visa numbers. That category would have become unavailable. So it might happen any time in September, and it will only last until 1st of October. And 1st of October, because it's the start of the new fiscal year, we'll get the new set of visa numbers and the dates will progress. There were questions regarding this, so I just wanted to cover that point. Now the most important point for which you have been waiting is the prediction for October. Although I have covered it in my last 2 videos, I just wanted to reiterate it one more time here so that people can take for what's it worth. Again, this is my own opinion on the numbers that I have seen, but you can take it for what it's worth. Okay, so what I am saying is EB1 will progress significantly. The reason I am saying that is because there is no backlog in the rest of the world category. There is continuous overflow of numbers that are unused from lateral as well from the ones that we may get from spillovers. Okay, so that category will, EB1 category for India specifically, will move forward up until say January of 2024 or maybe plus minus, but very close to being current. Although there have been 15,000 pending applicants in that category, I would say that most of those people may have already been processed because these visa numbers continue to flow in throughout the later part of this fiscal year. Now that's EB1. EB2 and EB3, simple. 4 to 6 months of progression. That's what I am speculating based on the pending numbers that we have seen in the inventory. There is a lot of back and forth in the comment section regarding how I am wrong and how I am right. I want to tell you what I think. We'll see in the couple of weeks, just in 2 or 3 weeks, what is going to happen. Don't hold me to it because this is just my prediction. Anyways, I want to remind you of my EB1A masterclass, which is coming up in September first week, the Sunday of September. Do check out the link in the description and register for it if you are interested in knowing all the criteria and the details for EB1. I go into the intricate details of every criteria, the real world evidences that are required, the pitfalls to avoid, and the process that I recommend to improve your chances of getting approved in EB1A. So do check that out. Also do like the video, subscribe to my channel and put a meaningful comment because that is going to get you into the giveaway that I am going to announce in early September. Now I will be away for a couple of days for the rest of August, so I might not make a video, but in the meantime, feel free to reach out to me, book the available space on Calendly if you want to talk to me. If you like the content of this video, hit the like button and consider subscribing to my channel, and I'll see you in the next one.